Okay, we're going to go over for in loops. Objectives for this lesson: describe each piece of a for in loop and what's going on inside of it, and how it's similar to for loops in general. Identify the difference between key syntax and value syntax. So how you're going to find the key of an object and how you're going to find the value of an object is a really, that's the thing that trips people up the most, I think, is getting those mixed up. It still trips me up sometimes if I haven't seen it in a second, so no worries on that. But we're going to identify the similarities and differences between dot and brackets, because when you're traversing through objects, you use dot notation to go through different levels and find different things. When you're traversing through objects in a for in loop, you're using brackets instead of dots, and we're just going to go deeper into what that actually looks like and what that means. And then the stretch objective, if time allows, is to create a new object from an old object using a for in loop, because I know that a lot of your drills and checkpoints and stuff use that. So if we can go over it if time allows, that'd be awesome. So first what we're going to do, I created some beautiful complicated objects, and we're going to build some for in loops to go through them. First, same syntax as a for loop, it's just for with parentheses. Then we're going to say let key. This can be anything you want to name it. You can name it absolutely anything in the world. I name it key so that I can visualize what's going on better, because this is referencing a key in whatever object you want to be in, which in this case is obj. So first we're just going to console log out what we're getting in this for in loop. First we'll just console log the key, and then we'll console log object at key. And if no one wants to guess, that's totally okay. But if someone want to guess what these two things are going to give us, like what the first one will give you and then what the second one will give you. Okay, fair. So the first one is going to give you, I'll actually do this really fast, key, and after you saw it? No. Just because you're a quick reader doesn't mean you get to guess it. Okay, so when you just go through the key, it's going to give you the key of each value of key value pair. And then object at key is going to give you the value of each key value pair. Because similar to dot notation, when you do object dot the key, it'll give you the value back. And so this is saying object dot whatever key goes through. So first object dot resident instructor, and then object dot instructor. So if like outside of this for loop, I wanted to say object dot resident instructor, and then did object dot resident instructor, it's going to give me Spencer. So the big difference between a for loop and just traversing an object as you normally would is that instead of a dot, you have brackets. And brackets always, yeah. What do you mean by traversing an object? Traversing, just like finding things inside of it. So you can get really deep into objects. We're not going to right now. And so you could have like an object where the value to the key is an object. And then inside of that, there's 3 more objects. So you can get really, really deep. So it's just traversing an object when you're going through that object to find what you want.
Okay. So then why on the second console log do you have object key in quotes and then object key is written out?
That is so you can see object key out here. And then Berto. So you can see what command is being given and then what that command is giving you. That's not actually doing anything. That's just readability. Yeah, that's not doing anything in the code. So yeah, all of these are just like carbon copies so that you can see what's going on. What else was I gonna say? I lost track. But yeah, you can change this to anything you want. I saw a lot of people had some, one guy in 99 always has fire, and then you can reference it as fire, and it'll still work. Same thing. But yeah.
All right. So then in the second console log, do you still have to call it key even though if you name it fire?
No. So this, I'll just get rid of these. 1 second. These aren't doing anything. This is this variable. So it's like what I is in a for loop, how you could really give that, you could say let j equals 0, let I equals 0. You can say anything and you reference it as I. The same thing is happening here.
Okay. So the let for in, right? So the let that, does it automatically know that in the object that that's the key?
This is the key.
So if I left it blank, it would still run the key, or would I have to name it?
You have to give it a variable name.
Okay.
Because you have to be able to call it. So if it's blank, you can't say give me the key at any point because there is nothing there.
Okay.
So it needs a name so you can call it.
In the object, it's whatever you name the object, right?
Whatever you name the object. So let's do object 1 really fast so you can see the difference. Let key in object 1, and then we'll console.log out that key. And that's going to give us A, B, and C because those are the keys for object 1, A, B, and C. So let this be referenced as the key. This is the key now in whatever object you want to go through. That's why I add another one because obj could be really confusing, and I could see everyone having an object named something else, and all of you still put obj, and it would not work, and you'd be really confused why, and that's fair. So this is always the object you want to look through. You could name this something ridiculous like this thing, and then let key in this thing, and it would still work. Oh, because I'm referencing it. Yeah, it would still work. So something I really, really want to drive home is this and this. Again, like this is the thing that's going to confuse you the most past anything. This is just creating a little empty space in your code that is going to be filled by something else. So this is just like, think of it, I thought of it as like a little bucket, and then your for loop is going to drop things in that bucket. It'll be read with that in the bucket. It'll be dropped out. The next time it runs, something else will get dropped in. So an easier way for me to look at for loops, especially if I'm like seeing a new problem for the first time and I don't know what I'm supposed to do, look at it as if you're hard coding it out. So instead of object at key, be like, okay, well I know first I'm going to get object.residentStructure. That's the first thing that's going to come into my for loop. And then the second thing is going to be this thing, sorry, it's this thing now. This thing dot resident structure. And then the second thing is going to be this thing dot instructor. This thing dot instructor. So what this is doing is just going through each key in your object and giving you the value for each one. Or if you just say the key, it's just giving you the key for each thing in your object. Just going through your whole object one by one, like a for loop goes through an array. Similarly, but it's going through with keys, not with indexes, so it works differently in that.
So when you're, say for console log is that if you're going to call both values, or the key and the value, what's that syntax?
So you want to see the key and the value?
Right, on the same line.
Be that.
Okay.
So now if you go over, you see, whoop, I gave something wrong. That guy. Resident instructor, Spencer, instructor, Berto. So, or you could just do this thing, and it'll give you the whole object. Yeah, this is essentially dot notation. It's just doing the dot notation for you. So you're giving it a space, and it's going through each key and filling it for you. Okay. And then this is going to be the value for that. Okay. I'm going to ask some questions now, see how well you understand what's going on. What does this represent? Someone from that table. This right here represents object? You always know you're wrong when they ask a question back. Okay, someone else. What does this thing represent? The key in the object, yeah. So each key in the object. And then this is the object itself that you're traversing through. What will this give you? Someone from this table. Okay, someone from this table.
It'll loop through the objects and give you all the values.
All the values, yeah. So it'll give you value for each key that is in the object.
So you're talking about the whole line?
No, sorry, I just highlighted this bit.
Oh, okay, so
This is going to give you the value.
just the values on the other side.
And then this would give you,
Both.
no, so, well, the whole line will give you both, but what will this give you?
That's the whole line. But that
Oh,
was
yeah.
the key.
Yeah. Okay, so key is the key, and then object with object, square brackets, key is the value. Those are the two big things. I recommend writing that down somewhere and having it as reference, because that's the thing that's going to trip you out the most, is knowing how to reference the key and how to reference the object. So one of your, did that a little bit, use an accumulator with a for in loop. Okay, let's try, I'm actually going to skip that. I'm going to skip the accumulator thing, because I think it's not going to help you at all. And we're going to go straight to the stretch goal, because this is what's going to start, hopefully, making a little more sense or giving you more context for what you're looking at. One of the problems that you guys have to solve is you get an object, and you have to switch the key and the value and give a new object back. So where 1 would be the key, A would be the value. So I'm just going to do that live code so you guys can see what that will look like when you finally do it. So the big thing that this one is really testing you on is how well do you know accumulators and how well do you know the syntax for your key and your value. So first I'm going to create a new object, and that's going to be my accumulator. That's going to be the thing that captures everything that's going to come out of this for loop. And don't stress too much on the accumulator thing yet if that's something that's hard to grasp for you. I want you guys to mostly see the syntax between the difference between a key and a value and what that's going to look like. So we're going to do, I got distracted, he walked in. Okay, object 1 key. Which one's this going to give us? Someone, anyone from the back table, you guys haven't talked yet. What's this going to give us? The value. Yeah, so it's going to give us value. So since we want the value to be the key in our new object, we actually have to wrap all of this in new square brackets and say new object. So then this, oh yeah, sorry, is it small?
Yeah. Bam.
Oh, there we go. Now you can see it. Okay. So this is one level deeper than we went in our previous for in loop, because we're going really deep on square brackets in one place. But basically what this is saying, it's, again, just dot notation broken down. So this is saying new object dot whatever this value is going to be. So that's going to be 1 for the first one. So it's saying new object dot 1, create that. Equals, okay, this one, I don't know if this is right. I don't think that's right. I think that's it. Yeah, so see now our original object this is our original object and this is our final object. So we took the value from each one and set that as a key in a new object, and took the key from the old ones and set it as the value in the new object. And this looks crazy confusing, so I'm going to talk it through a couple more times. This is saying new object. So when you want to create a new item in an object, you say that object dot, like we could just do something equals hey. And then I got rid of the console log, that's why. Yeah, so I created a key of something with a value of hey by doing new object dot something equals a string of hey. So what this is doing is the same thing. We're just letting it, the for loop autofill or continuously fill in and iterate through what these values are and then what these keys are and set them equal to each other in our new object. I know that was a lot. Objects are really, really tough. Do you want me to do this a couple more times over? Actually, here's what we should do. If everyone can pull up Replit or something like that, we're going to code it together so you guys can get the feel for it under your fingers and start understanding and playing with what each of these things do and what it looks like on your computer. So I'll give you a minute or two to do that.
Can you slack out the object that you want to see?
Heck yeah. Oh. There you go. There's your object. Just look up when you're done with Replit. I'll start going once most of you are looking at me. Also, quick question I should have asked before. Who's all here to learn about for and loops and who's just sitting in here?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, sorry. Who's here to learn about for and loops? Beautiful. Okay, thank you. Throw a thumbs up my way instead when you're done typing out your Replit. Okay, close enough. I'm going to start going. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, same thing as last time, we're just going to, what I want to do for the next 5-10 minutes is I'm going to continuously slack out different objects, and we are going to do this same thing over and over and over again until you can kind of piece together what's happening on your own computer. So first, what we're going to do, we want to create a new object where the value is the key and the key is the value. So we're going to say, okay, new object, because that's what we want to create it in, and then empty space that our for and loop is going to fill. Then we're going to say object 1, another empty space that our for and loop is going to fill, key. So this will iterate through A, then B, then C. So it will give us 1, then 2, then 3. And then we're going to set that equal to the key. Because in this for in loop, we're going through all the keys in object 1. So we're just going to say key of object 1 is now the value of new object. How did it work for your guys' replets? Did it create a new object the way you wanted it to? Did it act funky? Fist of 5, how well did it go? If you are done, fist of 5, how well did it go in your replit? If you want to just console log out your new object so you can see if it's the thing that you want, that'll help too. 5, nailed it. Proud of all of you. You're killing it. Kicking ass, taking names. I just realized I'm recording. I always accidentally curse in recordings. I shouldn't do that. It's really unprofessional. Yeah.
New object is not defined. Unexpected.
Did you get this line in your code at any point? So this is a little bit of an accumulator, I guess no refresher, you guys are doing it right now, but it's an accumulator thing. To be able to create your new object and add key and value pairs into your object has to exist. So you need to say, hey, create an empty object that I'm gonna fill later, and then in here is us filling it later. Do you want me to run over and look at it, or? Oh, you got it? Cool. Okay, look at that. We got a beautiful object with flipped keys and values. Now, let's just do a little exercise where we're going to create a new object without a for loop, without a for in loop, just so you can kind of see how creating an object works in a simpler span. So I'm going to comment this out, and we're going to say new object dot G102 equals cool. And then we're going to create a new object that only has one key and value pair, which is G102 and cool. And then we'll do there we go. So this is how you create new keys and new values in an object. This could be, we could add things to object one if we wanted to. So if I wanted, if I wanted to add these things to object one instead, I would just say object one, and then we'd have to console log object one. And that's going to give us the original object that we had plus the two new things we added, which is G102 cool and Spencer also cool. So in our for loop, what we're doing is the exact same thing as this. We're saying, hey, object with the key of this equals this new value that I'm giving you. This syntax is just confusing because you have to dive real deep to get a key and to get a value and to switch them. But you are doing this at a much more complicated level. Any questions? Fist of 5, do you not have, okay, 1 being you don't have questions because you have no idea what the hell is going on. 5, you don't have questions because you just don't have any questions. No, you're totally good. Yeah, question.
I guess I don't know where I am. Just bear with me.
No, you're good. You're good. Objects and what's up? Objects and for in loops are really, really complicated things. This isn't something that you need to grasp completely by the end of this lesson. This is your introduction to for in loops. This is absolutely not. This is us showing you how they work, you getting a little bit of a feel for how they work, and we're going to keep expanding on those skills and abilities and understandings through the rest of the week. This isn't something you need to understand by 2:45. You want to blow up your Mac?
Yeah, this is the air charger.
I have a charger in the corner if you want to steal it. What's up? So in object 1, what's happening right here is we aren't reassigning A or B. A, B, and C already exist. I'm adding new key and value pairs through this.
Yeah, when you're just using spot A and spot B, you haven't used spot C yet, right?
What do you mean spot A and spot B? Because what I'm doing is there's an object that already exists with 3 spots, with 3 key value pairs, and I'm adding 2 extra key value pairs. I'm not touching anything that's already there. That exists, and I'm leaving it. It's good. I'm adding 2 other things. Objects are really difficult. It took me so long to be able to like effectively work with objects. It's really, really hard stuff.
So if we want to loop through object inside another object, like
Object inside of an object?
yeah.
I have not done that, and that is not something we're going to do right now because a lot of people gave me 1s and 2s when I asked how well they knew what was going on. So we're not going to go object within an object yet because you don't need to know that yet. We'll go object within an object when you need to know how to get into an object. Okay, we're going to do this again with a new object that I'm going to create really fast. Coming up with like objects is a lot harder than you think. Coffee is good. What? Okay. We're going to name it something else too. We're going to name this one drinks. Okay, now what we want to do is create a new object where again we flip the keys and the value, or yeah, let's flip the keys and the values one more time and then we'll figure out something else to do. And we're going to name new object just object. Okay, so now we're going to say object dot essentially drinks. So each value of drinks is now the key, a new key for object. And then we're going to set the value to our new keys, which is just key. So now what we're going to get back is good, coffee, probably better, water, and just sad is not coffee. There we go. There's our new shiny new object. Okay. Trying to think of other things I can do with objects. We're just going to show you, again, drinks key, which is going to show us a value, and key. Did you guys finish typing before I just got rid of that?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Let me go back.
So just from my understanding.
Yeah.
So for and loops are for keys and objects only. That's the only time we're going to use them.
You can use them for other things.
Okay.
Usually the only times you're going to use them is for objects.
Okay. So that's quite a lot of understanding there. Second one is so for this for and loop that we're doing right now.
Mhm.
We're using the brackets and not dot notation
Because, yeah, okay, so dot notation is strict, whatever you put into it. So if we try to do object dot drinks at key, it's going to look for a key, or it's going to create a key, an object, that is drinks bracket key. Literally that written out. And then if we said that equal to, well, key will actually work. But you can see now, cannot set property copy when defined. Oh, so it won't even let us. It won't even let us do this. But if we try to do drinks dot key, if we try to do that instead of bracket notation, still gonna mess us up because it can't find that.
because we're creating a new one. So
It would create one called drinks. Yeah. So dot notation is strict. Whatever you put after it, it will look for exactly that key. Bracket notation is that key will be filled in by your for and loop. I thought the gym was only below classroom 1. Is it both?
Mostly here,
Oh,
little bit of it.
I thought it was 1. Everyone complains in 1, like it's only in 1, so I thought it was only in 1. Huh? That's new?
New guy.
Must be the new guy.
New gym patron.
What happened?
I said that did not sound like a good thing.
Oh no. Nothing ever, if you can hear it from downstairs, it's probably not a good thing that just happened upstairs. Okay, we're gonna bring it back really fast. How well did that go for you guys? Were you guys able to create a new object with keys and values switched on this object too?
So like, I get it. I can type everything that you're typing, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty easy. But I just don't get the motion, right? Of that's 4 let key in drinks,
This?
and then the line right under it. Object. So I get, we're saying that something in the object is going to be equal to key, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the drinks key is equal to, like, I don't get where the flip action comes from.
Okay,
right?
cool.
Like, I don't get why it's even flipping, just because we said the drinks key is equal to the key, right?
So here, we're gonna do this.
It's not saying anything about using the value or anything like that.
So it is using their value. Like if we created a new object like this, it's just gonna be a copy of the object we had before. Except for we'll have that extra one that I need to get rid of. Okay, it's just a copy of the one we had before. The thing is this is referencing its values. It's just referencing a value in a way you've never seen before, and a way that's not as explicit as it would be nice if it was, I guess. So whenever you call key, or whatever you name this variable will always be the key in your object. And then this right here will be dot notation of object dot whatever that key is. So first one is coffee. When you say just key, it will give you the key back. When you say object dot this, it will give you the value back. So when we flip it, what we're saying is, hey, this will always give us the value of whatever key it finds. So this is us saying, hey, take the value from,
Okay.
yeah,
You're saying that, so you're pinpointing the value within the key, right?
yes,
At that point, and then you're saying that it's equal to the key for the object.
yes. So you're going through, you can think of these as like, it goes through one by one. So it goes through this, then it goes through this.
Right.
Yeah, and so,
I get that it cycles through it. I just don't get where it's taking that value, how it's pulling that value
oh, how it's pulling it?
from the key. And like I see right there where it says it equals the key for the new object, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see that, but drinks key, I get drinks coffee, so it's making coffee equal to coffee.
Okay, yes. So
You get what I'm
this,
saying right
yes. This is why objects are confusing, is because the syntax is confusing as hell. When you say drinks anything, it will give you the value to the key that will be auto-filled in within this bracket space. So when you are trying to do normal dot notation, you say drinks dot something, drinks dot coffee. And that is what's happening here. Drinks dot coffee will give you good. So in this, you're saying, hey, drinks dot coffee, then drinks dot water, then drinks dot not coffee. And whenever you call dot notation like that, it doesn't give you the key, it gives you the value. It's kind of similar to how you name variables. And when you call a variable, it doesn't give you the variable name, it gives you what you assign to the variable.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of the same thing happening here.
Okay.
You're just saying like, hey, this is the object to look in, this is the key to look for, give me whatever is assigned to that.
What the value is on that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah? A little better? Okay. Yeah, they're confusing. The syntax of, I have to look it up all the time. If I don't touch it for like 2 days, I'm like, crap, which one is which? Someone asked me for help actually, like earlier today, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I totally know. First, console log these two things out, and then we'll and then we'll see." And so then I was able to like refresh myself on which one is which and all that. So it's something that's hard to remember. But the easiest way to do it is this is dot notation. The more familiar you are with dot notation, the easier this will be. This is giving you the value to whatever is autofilled here. Similar to calling a variable. Okay. Trying to think of more things we can do. Okay, let's do quick poll really fast of what, this is going to be a long one. This is going to be a long explanation for whoever has to answer it. What this highlighted portion is doing. Oh, well, you can do fist of 5. You guys are also automatic on fist of 5. That totally works. Yeah, you can do fist of 5, but then I do also want like a definition to see if your fist of 5 is accurate. I always gave a 5 because I was like, yeah, I'm smart. 5, I got it for sure. But yeah, no. So we'll break it up between people actually. So can someone at this table tell me what drinks bracket key is getting? At each step, tell me for each point in this object what it's grabbing. What just drinks bracket key. If I console logged drinks bracket key, what would I get? Or someone in the whole room, actually. No. Drinks bracket key is going to give you, it's going to give you the value to it. So just like for the visual people, drinks bracket key, that's 2, that's extra, equals value. Actually, here, let's just do this. Returns the value. Key returns the key. That's what those 2 things do. I'm actually gonna put that in a little bit of a note thing. And I will Slack out quick notes and syntax in the thread that I created earlier in your channel so that you guys can use it as reference when you're starting to go through the rest of these things. Yeah, I think I've pretty much bottomed out in what I can do up here that will be helpful. I think what's going to help you guys is just messing with it on your own computers, maybe trying to tackle a few of the problems if you feel up to it. Otherwise, just keep messing with objects, trying to get different things to console log, trying to really, really, really familiarize yourself with which one's the key, which one's the value, how to call each one. But I will Slack out these notes and then wander around and help you until the end of the day.